Hi, it's Ron McTube. Today on the Hunter Quarter of the Wild, we're at Rancho Del Arroyo and we're making a brand new Grade 1 grinding guide for 2022. Now, a lot of people want to hunt Grade 1s and I've got 9 myself. This is my 10th Grade 1 grind. I've just started it. I'm about 2 weeks in, but they're not sure how to do it. So I'm going to go over some techniques I use, show the locations, my favourite hotspots, little tips to help you hopefully get a Grade 1 at some point. So how do we go about starting our first Grade 1 grind? Now, we're hunting whitetail on Rancho Del Arroyo during their drinking need zone times, which is 8 till 11:30. You want to allow 30 minutes for whitetail to get where they need to drink. So give them 30 minutes. I start at 8:30 until 11:30. You can obviously change the time back to 10 outpost if you're running out of the time of the drinking need zone time for whitetail. Just remember, if you swap the time, allow for the whitetail to travel, like we've just been mentioning, because you might think, why is there no whitetail here? It's just because they haven't got there yet. They are going to arrive there at some point. Next, this is a very big important thing to mention. Not everyone does it, but you ideally want to find all your drinking need zone times on Rancho Del Arroyo for whitetail. If you can't find everyone, find as many as possible. Now, this might take you 1 or 2 days to do, but it will save you a lot of hours in the long run. And if you think about a grind for the Grade 1, most people have to kill 2,000 or 3,000 on average or more. So you can be spending a lot of time grinding, so you want the best results, and that's how you get the best results, is by finding all your need zones and knowing what you've got on your map. Because some of those zones you don't find, the whitetail, the Grade 1, he could be in that very location. So that's why you need to check all your zones. We'll go over that a bit more in detail a bit later when I'm looking at the actual map. So we know what time we're going to hunt them. We know we've got our zones. What's next? So we're going to go over our weapons. So the grinder's choice at the minute is what I'm using now. It's the 308 rifle of the recently released Modern Weapons Pack DLC. 308 is a monster. It really is good. It used to be the M1 Garand, and to be honest, the M1 Garand is still very, very good. So any of those two are really good for grinding for the Grade 1s. Now, you've got your gun, you know what time, you've got your zones. What's next? The technique is what we're going to go over next. So, whitetails. It doesn't really matter what whitetails you kill, male-wise. You shoot males only, and it doesn't matter if it's a 1 to a level 3. It's RNG based, random, so you could shoot a 1, it could come back as a Grade 1, you could shoot a 3, it could come back as a Grade 1, you just don't know. So I kill all male whitetail as quick as possible with the 308. Now, how Rancho Del Arroyo is, and because it's so open, you can just slaughter as many male whitetail as you want. Don't worry about busting the zones, because all that will happen is they have to come back to water, so they have to come back to the lakes. So it might not come back in the exact same place, but 95% of the time they'll come back to a similar lake. Sometimes though, and this is why you need to find all zones ideally, they may swap to other groups. So you may have a group of 5 and you might get like 10 join it, and it might be one really big group. I have had this happen this week on a big lake I normally hunt, so just be prepared for when it does it. So let's have a look at how I actually grind and where I grind. So this is where I start, at this middle lake. I've got a tent a little closer. I start at 9 AM and I hunt till 11:30. Then I go to this lake, look over there from this tent. Then I go to this tent and walk down this edge. Now the thing is, when you walk down that edge, you can look back over the other way we've just come from and you'll see maybe whitetail there. So it's good to have tents like this. Then I go to that tent and check in this bottom right hand corner where you do get a lot of whitetail. This is one of my favourite lakes. There's a little sort of walkway through the water and you walk all the way down this right hand edge. There's normally a lot of whitetail there. I've had a lot of diamonds there. I've had great ones on that lake. Up to this top lake, and you can do it in any order. Check the left, nothing there. I fast travel to this right tent and walk around this edge. This is a very good lake. The right hand tent, I've had 2 great ones at that exact tent, so it's a good lake. This small little lake a lot of people won't bother with, but I've had diamonds there for whitetail, mule deer. It's a really good lake. I hunt there, check there, then down to this one. There's one group normally on this bottom edge for me. It might be different for you. It is orangey. Then down to this lake. Now this lake is awkward. I often avoid hunting this. The reason being is it's really hard to navigate around. There's a lot of whitetail there, but what I'd say is check it just every now and again and try not to hunt it, because it's quite hard to maintain. This area with the recent updates is brilliant. There is a lot of whitetail around here. The bigger lake, especially on the right hand side, is very good, so check that out. Then I go to this one from the outpost, then to this one, and this is generally what I'll normally hunt up to on the left hand side. I won't cover all that lake because the one above is very similar. It's very hard to walk around, time consuming, and you want to try and get as many whitetail as possible. Now this tent, the reason I'm showing you, there's no whitetail here. What there is lots of herd animals, same with this one, and it's for removing hunting pressure from your whitetail lakes. This is what saves me from having to manage all my whitetail areas, because I just go and slaughter 20 mule deer in a row at some of these areas or whatever animals, and then all my lakes are clear again. I can just start grinding straight away again instead of just constantly managing. So you're getting more whitetail per hour doing it that way. So the red areas are where whitetail aren't. The whitetail areas where they are is the white areas, and the yellow rings are my favourite areas to hunt whitetail. So what I'd do is I'd pick out your favourite areas of the white areas, hunt those, but get all your zones first. You don't have to check all your zones every time, but give them a check if something either moves, a group vanishes, or you haven't done it for a while, because you never know, that great one could be like down on the coast where those white areas are, or a small tiny lake like the top right or bottom right. So you do have to check them every now and again, but you don't have to check them every time. It's about getting as much whitetail as quick as possible. So I hope that helps. I've tried to cover it the best I can. Like I say, I'm on my 10th grind for my 10th great one, and hopefully we'll get one soon. You never know, and that's the thing. You could get one in your first kill, an initial one, or you could get one at 10,000. You just don't know. That's just the look of it, and that's the fun of it. And when it turns up and you find that track of 97 kilo to 110 kilo, your heart starts to race, and it's a special moment, and you know all that grinding you've done has been worth it. Or you may see it first. You never know. Sometimes you find a track first, sometimes you see it first. My first one I actually shot over a lake at a small whitetail, went to collect it and collect its body, and at the side of it was a whitetail track. I clicked on it and it was the Great One's track. So I hope that helps you out. So I'm Ron McHugh. We've been doing a Great One grinding guide for 2022 on Rancho Del Arroyo. Please subscribe to my YouTube channels, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.